Okay, folks, settle down. You know we have our quiz today. Hey, you in the back, settle down. Everybody, I'm really trying to get your attention here because today on Silver Forever, where we love to spread the good word of silver and gold, we are doing our third quiz in the series, and this is actually the advanced edition. So we're going to be able to tell if you really know your stuff. For those of you who thought the last two quizzes were just a little too easy, just a little too obvious, well, I think you're going to find that this quiz is a little more challenging. So without further ado, let's shut everyone's mouth right now. I'm serious, everybody. We're going to get started. So the first question, no, don't look ahead on the quiz. The first question of the day is, where are Niue coins minted? Niue is an island nation in the Pacific, but of course, as a small place, they don't actually have their own mint. What they do is they end up contracting out their mint operations to other nations. What country's mint mints Niue coins? Second question of the day, what is the weight of a 1,000 troy ounce bar in pounds? So we know about these bars because you see them. Those are the classic Comex bars. They're not always exactly 1,000 troy ounces. When it comes to the 1,000 troy ounce bar, how many pounds do those weigh? I'm going to accept a good estimate here, but do your best on this question and we'll move on to the next one. This is a question that I've certainly gotten wrong before, and I've even said it incorrectly in one of my videos. What does the JM in JM bullion stand for? You know that in several of the past editions, we've talked about what SD bullion stands for, what BGASC stands for. Well, now I'm wondering, what does the JM stand for? If you know that, you're a real pro. What year was the first American Silver Eagle minted? I think that most of us are going to be able to get this one, but let's see when we answer the questions after this. Moving on. A lot of us might not be buyers of scrap gold and silver, but it can be important. If you're at an estate sale or if you're at a pawn shop or something and you think you can get a good deal on it, you need to know, what percentage purity is 14 karat gold? All right, so for the next question of the day, what was the original gold to silver ratio in the United States? We're talking about 1792 here, back when the United States actually used real money, sound money, in the form of silver and gold. They were pegged to an exact fixed ratio. What was that ratio back during the founding of the country? Moving on to a mining question. What ore, a lead sulfide ore, is a common source of silver, perhaps the most common source of silver? So when you're mining, you're going to be collecting this raw ore, basically just a bunch of rocks, and then you gotta break them up and actually melt and refine out those precious metals like silver. What's the most common ore? A lead sulfide ore used as a source of silver. Eighth question of the day, what size capsule fits an American Gold Eagle? I'm gonna give you a quick hint right here. This is an American Gold Eagle. What size capsule is this, folks? Question number 9, which U.S. Mint bullion coin features the Mercury obverse? So you guys know I love that Mercury obverse, and in a previous quiz we actually learned that the actual name of the design is the Winged Liberty, but everyone thinks it looks like the old god Mercury, so they call it the Mercury dime. Which U.S. Mint bullion coin features that same Mercury Winged Liberty obverse? And the last question of the day, folks, how many troy ounces are in a 100 gram silver bar? So, you know, I have an example here. This is actually a 10 gram Geiger bar that I was fortunate enough to win in a giveaway on Empire Precious Metals auction, courtesy of Coin Crew, who dropped a sweet bid and then offered it up for the Reese style giveaway. But of course, these grams are not the same as troy ounces, so I gotta ask, how many troy ounces are in a 100 gram silver bar? And if you gotta do the math on that, I totally understand. So there it is, folks. Those are the 10 questions for the third quiz, the advanced edition of the gold and silver trivia series here on Silver Forever. So let's go ahead and answer these questions now. You got to let me know in the comments down below, were these harder than last time? How did you do? I'm really curious to see what our class's average was today. And I do gotta say, thanks for paying attention and, you know, shutting up when you heard the sound of that sweet, sweet silver. Answering these questions finally, where are those Niue coins minted? Well, I'm sure you've seen some of them on the channel before. They are actually minted in New Zealand at the New Zealand Mint. And now we're wondering, what is the weight of a 1,000 troy ounce COMEX bar in terms of pounds, those avoirdupois pounds, the same pounds that you weigh yourself in? This is a hard one to get the exact answer right unless you're really doing the math. And so I'm willing to accept a round answer here. We're gonna go with 70 pounds. The actual number is 68.56 pounds, but I'm willing to accept 70 pounds. We're talking round numbers here, folks. Either way, I think a lot of us would struggle just to lift that up one-handed. Moving on, what does the JM in JM bullion stand for? Honestly, I made the assumption that it was Johnson Matthey, just because you always see JM everywhere, and it turns out that was exactly wrong. The actual answer to this question, the co-founders of the company, one of the biggest silver and gold bullion companies in the world, just use their first names, right? So we got Jonathan and we got Mike. Jonathan and Mike, the co-founders of JM Bullion. And if you can see here, they actually do have this story written on their website, as well as their official account on Reddit has responded and answered this question. So it's definitive, folks. The real meaning behind the JM is just the first names of the co-founders. Now the next question, what year was this good old American Silver Eagle minted? We all know and love this coin, at least we used to before the premiums just went through the roof. What was the first year that these things were minted? Well, the answer to that question is 1986. Now, of course, these are bullion coins. Most people are not collecting them, but there are people out there who like to have examples from every year, and in this case, 1986 is actually kind of a key date in that series. Moving on, what percentage purity is 14 karat gold? Now, we know 14 karat gold because it often shows up in simple gold jewelry. You know, if you don't get the fraction right or whatever, if you don't get that decimal point, it's not a big deal, but the answer is 58.3%. Now, in the world of an LCS owner or a pawn shop owner, they have some conversion factors that they just simply use. But another way to do this is just to know that 24 karat gold is the maximum amount. And so if you were to divide 14 by 24, what number do you think you would come up with? And that is that. I know that the carat system can be kind of confusing, but if you think about it, it does make sense. 24 is just one of those amazing numbers that's divisible by 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, 24. There's so many different ways in which you could combine various metals alloyed just using that simple 24 denominator. So moving on to question number 6, what's the original gold to silver ratio in the US? And it's actually changed over time. Now, historically, gold and silver have been much closer in terms of their value. I mean, if you just look at how much you can actually pull out of the ground, it's certainly not 80 to 1 or whatever it is at nowadays. So it's not terribly surprising that in April of 1792, that gold and silver coins would be at a fixed ratio of 15 to 1. So there you have it, folks. That is the answer to the question number 6. And yeah, I know, it's gold to silver, maybe it's 1 to 15, whatever. It's 15 to 1, okay? Moving on to question number 7. What lead sulfide ore is a common source of silver? And that ore is called galena. So galena is actually one of these common sources of silver. Okay, question number 8. Wrapping up here shortly. What size capsule fits an American Gold Eagle? Well, I showed it to you earlier. Here it is in the black ring form. This is the one that I like to use, but you can also get direct fits. Either way, it's going to have the same number associated with it from Airtight. You can actually just click the Amazon affiliate link below if you want to buy one for yourself. It is a 32 millimeter coin capsule. Number 9, which US Mint bullion coin features the Mercury obverse? You guys know that I love my Mercuries. It's always been a part of the Silver Forever channel. You know, I don't own one of these coins yet, but I really want to. I mean, I love the design, both the obverse and the reverse, and that is on the American Palladium Eagle. You know, I'm fairly interested in platinum. I do have a platinum eagle here. I hate this. I just think this is like the worst looking Statue of Liberty that you could possibly do. I mean, we all have our own opinions here, but like, I mean, come on. Look at that face. I'm not taking that one home. I don't mind the reverse as much. I do think that this one looks a little bit better here. But the truth is, I really wish that the Platinum Eagle and the Palladium Eagle would have their designs reversed, because I'm interested in buying a small amount of platinum, maybe an ounce a year or something like that. But that palladium, it's a little pricey for my taste. I love the design though. I wish that I could get it. Okay, last question. Number 10, how many troy ounces are in a 100-gram silver bar? There's a couple ways that you could do this. One is just by knowing from our first quiz that 31.1 grams are in a troy ounce, and so you could do a pretty easy conversion there to determine that it is 3.215 troy ounces of silver in a 100-gram bar. But the other way to do it is just to know that 1 kilogram, which is 10 times 100 grams, has 32.15 troy ounces. So you carry that decimal over and there's your answer. I hope that you really enjoy this series. Let me know if you do. I'll continue to do it every month as long as it keeps pulling views. And until next time, stack silver today, stack silver tomorrow, and stack silver forever. Out.